All right, welcome back to another episode of On Tap. Vibes are high, the lights are low. We're here for another conspiracy theory episode. We're going to be doing one of these a month. And to start us out this week, we are doing JFK's assassination and the CIA's involvement in his assassination. Here today, you have myself, me, Cody, Sam, my short-peckered friend right next to me, Bodie on the other side of the table, and Mitchell Thompson joining us again for another week. We had such a blast last week with the Blue Collar Happy Hour that Mitch is joining us again. Boys, have you done a lot of research on this?
So I want to be completely honest right off the bat.
Yeah.
I've been pretty sick the last couple of days. So
Like, whoa, like sick or like sick?
Like sick. Like, sick.
Yeah, so
And
like
I really, I'm lacking. So I'm looking at you boys to carry me. I've felt like Mitch the last couple of days, just laying in bed doing absolutely nothing.
Oh my God, dude.
So I've been living that Mitch Thompson life, and I made it here today. I'm here to listen. I'm here to learn.
Yeah.
And so you guys are going to have to carry me.
Yeah. Okay. So
It's a heavy load, but you guys got it.
So let's get right into this. Let's start with this. What is like where do you even start with something like this? There's so much to it.
There's so much to this. Is the original conspiracy theory. Before the JFK assassination, the words conspiracy theory did not exist.
Well, let's talk about this.
Vocabulary.
What was the general idea released to the media of exactly what happened? Like, what is the story that the press played?
The story that they pushed to the American people right away was just there's a lone gunman acted alone, just basically a lunatic was kind of what I understood from it. The media just said that they just made Lee Harvey Oswald, and he was a psychopath. I'm not going to say he wasn't, but they made him into this lone gunman psychopath that just decided he was going to kill the president one day and just did it all by himself, and there's absolutely no involvement from anyone else.
Here's the thing, Mitch. He has feelings too. So maybe if you were called that by someone,
not
that would maybe think that
not anymore. He doesn't after Jack Ruby molly-whopped him.
Yeah, dude, that's what's crazy. Damn. That's what really gets the conspiracy going for me. Like, regardless of all the new things that were released, the fact that Jack Ruby just shot his ass on television, that's crazy. Like, what does a strip club owner have to do with Lee Harvey Oswald?
Exactly.
Right.
That's where the CIA stuff really starts to show its face the most. I think is in Jack
so
Ruby.
let's rewind here. Okay. The guy that assassinated JFK gets killed by a seemingly random strip club owner.
Yeah, just a normal club owner. He had some ties to, like, the mafia, basically, is what I understood from it. He was definitely involved in
he was a
club back then.
As a good strip club owner should be. You should be tied to the mob.
He was definitely a sleazeball.
That's another piece
the
of it
strip
that
club
I don't
thing
understand.
was just a side hustle, the money laundering.
Right.
That was the
The
main
thing that I don't understand is if you are this big boss and you're a baller and you own a strip club, why are you the one shooting and why don't you hire someone to do that? You got money, and
so he's the hired help, you think?
I think no, I don't, because I don't know how far you want to dive into it.
I think we need to just dial back a second, get our minds like Lee Harvey Oswald, and take a brain cell or two away from ourselves and take this pre-show shot of a little fireball shooter while we consider what is the mindset of a guy like Lee Harvey Oswald. If we dial back just a little bit, the guy that assassinated JFK, he basically wanted to be a communist, and at this time, this was a word that was like, whoa. Like, there's people blacklisted from Hollywood because they were labeled as communists.
This at like the time where you could actually like go to jail for being labeled on?
Yes. Because it was considered treason,
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're on the brink of war. So, like,
and he was a guy that
he was openly
lived
saying
in Russia for a 2-year period. He was
he was basically
guy.
begging Russia, like, let me fight for you, let me be a part of your stuff.
And that's how much of an idiot this dude was. Is he basically went to Russia and offered them all the information he had as an ex-Marine.
Yeah.
And they were like, we don't give a shit about what you have to say.
But did they? But did they say that?
Yeah.
We don't know.
That's
the thing. That's the craziest part of the whole ordeal, is that he did spend time in Russia. This was amongst the whole beginning of the whole, science is trying to come up with ways where we can control people. The CIA is getting involved in weird stuff. The FBI is doing shady stuff. So where does this all start now? Lee Harvey Oswald going to Russia, comes back. What happens?
So my personal opinion, not that I'm going to say that this is exactly what happened, but what I think
From a lineman's perspective.
From a lineman's perspective. So Lee Harvey Oswald wanted to be this. He wanted to be a spy. He wanted to work for the KGB. And I think when he finally came back to America, the CIA went to him and saw that basically he's this big dummy that they can use to murder the president. You know, they can trick him into being like, oh, this is something that I really want to do, and this is my big moment. This is my whatever. He kills him, and then they have involvement with Jack Ruby to shoot him later.
Yeah.
I think they set him up to kill the president, and I think they set up him getting killed as well.
So does he have like any like credibility to him? Like, did he was he involved like in the CIA prior to it, or was
Lee Harvey
he just
Oswald?
Yeah,
absolutely none.
Or was he just
they wanted nothing to do with it?
He just watched too many James Bond movies.
He was
Basically.
just a complete loser. I mean, he was like he
What was his
a
family
communist.
life growing up? What was his family life growing up?
His family life, I think he
connection?
was just raised by a single mother, and she had some sort of mental issues. He had other siblings, and she like kicked them out of the house right away, and she just basically told him that he could do no wrong his entire life. It's kind of my understanding
Here's
of it.
the biggest thing for me, and I know they probably didn't have him at this time, but Lee Harvey Oswald 110% would have been a filet of fish eating type of guy.
Oh, yeah.
And
Fucking bastard.
That's a
to me-
motherfucker that would buy a bag of popcorn from the gas station.
Exactly.
he'd
Gas
probably-
station sushi.
He'd probably fuck him a crab too.
Listen, I actually have bought gas station sushi recently, but I'm saying there's something off. Like, there is obviously a little bit of something. Every single person that has known him personally has said, like, yeah, he's not a normal guy.
Yeah, for sure. So this is a guy that was preaching that he wanted to be a communist while he was serving in the U.S. military.
Exactly.
Overseas for the U.S. military, serving in Japan.
While people were getting prosecuted.
He was getting bullied to shit. Like, no one liked this guy at all. He was getting just, like, beat up on the regular.
He was like a private pile.
While he's overseas.
Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, and, like, all these other Marines would go out and drink at the bars, and they'd go pick up hookers and stuff like that, and this dude was just a nerd, and he'd sit in his bed and read Mein Kampf. All these dudes would come back fucked up from the bar and just kick his ass because he's such a nerd.
What are we gonna do in that?
Just beat
Let's
up
go-
Lee Harvey
let's go
Oswald.
kick his ass.
Dude sucks.
So-
I think his nickname in the military was Mrs. Oswald. I think that's what they called him.
Oh, God. So, before everyone knew that he had gone to Russia, that he was openly admitted that he was a communist and that he wanted communism, and what was his motive? Like, what did the media portray was his motive to assassinate JFK?
I just think he was. I mean, I guess I don't
easily
know
like
for sure.
swayed.
They're just like, well, he was just a psychopath. He just wanted to kill him.
He was pretty much just a bad dude through and through, right? He just wanted, every time he did something shocking, he wanted it to be his big moment. He wanted to get famous for being a piece of shit. Like, when he came back from Russia, he was expecting there to be like news crews waiting for him, like, what did you find out? Were you working as a spy? And like, no one gave a fuck.
So
like, he's just a completely irrelevant person. When he was in Russia, he worked in a factory for 2 years.
Right.
Well, that was
anything.
That was the thing before school shootings, was to go about it that way.
Yeah.
What?
Like, I don't mean to make light of it.
Fucking murder the president.
Right? Like, that's pretty hardcore.
That was the precursor to school
Dude,
shooting?
I mean,
your
hey,
big
I
moment.
like
mentality. Like,
It's
I
the
see what
same
you're saying.
mentality as like there's
saying.
no such thing as
We're
bad
still
publicity. Like,
talking
if I'm gonna
about
get
this
famous for
motherfucker.
something-
I have I get that narrative that like it completely makes sense, but my only thing is like, okay, if number one, if you're gonna be a Russian asset, which the CIA like came or like they released saying that like that was a thing, that they labeled him like a Russian asset, like that was confirmed by the government. Now, that's the shittiest asset in existence to openly, like, kind of, wave that flag that, like, hey, dude, like, yeah.
But then
fucking-
it's kind of like
You know what I
reverse
mean?
psychology. It's like, okay, someone who's openly this, how could they actually be that?
right. He's
like,
full of because your
obviously
first
they
thought
didn't
would
take
be
him
he's full
serious.
of shit.
Yeah.
But then for Russia, because Russia would have to reach out to him. Like, the KGB would have to be like,
Come on.
here. Yeah, come
Well,
here. Come
no,
here.
because this is how stupid this guy was. So when he went to Russia originally, he went on a tourist visa, which is like a temporary visa. You go there and you tour the country. That's how the Soviet Union was. So he shows up, and the KGB runs everything at this period. I mean, they are everywhere, and especially in these tourist locations.
Now explain to us, what is the KGB?
KGB's like, how would you even explain it? It's like the CIA.
Yeah,
of Russia, right?
I think it's the FBI of Russia.
Yeah.
from my
Yeah,
understanding.
but they have like obviously like a lot stronger ties with like the state's interests, and they can go a lot further than they can.
Yeah, they're
obviously
very,
here.
very thorough.
Well, I mean,
over there.
I listen to
They
this-
don't fuck around.
There's this,
like they just will like kill people, no reason.
and like they actually actively like they kind of like keep an eye on like the shining students in like the schools and stuff, and like they kind of like keep an eye out for like potential candidates where it's like if you show like a great display of like intelligence or like, you know, just high rankings altogether.
Yep.
Like they will come to you. They will find you, find where you live, and like
And you get
recruit
you get voluntold that
There's
you're going to be a KGB officer.
Oh,
It's
no
not-
shit.
I don't think it's the type of deal where they're like, oh, we'd really like you to be a part of our program. I think it's like you're going to fucking come be an agent and you're going to work for the state and you're going to like
There's
it. I'm
a
going to fucking kill you right now.
really interesting.
really?
I mean, from what I would understand or assume, that's kind of how they operate. Is it's like you don't really get to make decisions for them.
Do you guys
You don't get asked
You're just
anything.
in.
You get told.
It's like a gang.
yeah.
Oh, it's a
Kinda.
very. I listened to this. There's a Lex Friedman podcast with a former KGB member, and it was like really fascinating. Like this dude's like 90 years old.
You have to send me a link to that,
Dude,
thing. I'd love to listen to it.
it's so cool. Like genuinely, like because he like tells the story like start to end, like he was just like a really good student, and then all of a sudden like one day he gets a knock on his dorm door, and then it was this dude, but like how he told the story was that he knew who he was, like when he approached him, like they found him.
Yep.
But like the whole premise of it was very like suave, and it was very like low key. Like everything that he like got from him was like it was like hinting.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
And
Like
Maybe
some
I was
movie
wrong.
style
I was
stuff.
just-
and it was just
Okay.
like, you know, like
So now we fast forward back again. We know what the KGB is now. What involvement does Lee Harvey Oswald want to have with the KGB? He
So
says,
this is-
"I
this
want to
is-
join the KGB."
Yeah, so this is when he gets his tourist visa. They're on a tour bus, right? They're literally touring the country of Russia. This is what they're doing. And he knows there's KGB members on this bus, and he just openly admits, he's like, hey, I'm from America.
He stands up and starts
I want to
yelling.
fucking live in Russia. I want to help you guys. I want to be
Who do I
of
talk to
assistance
around
of the KGB. And they're like, so I think they kind of played it off as like, we'd like to work with you to him, and just made him like be stupid. And what he did is ended up working in a factory for 2 years, and he found out that he wasn't going to be the superstar that he thought he was going to be, and he came back to America. But so the same as what he was doing, there was also KGB members that wanted out, and they'd come to America. And the most famous one, his name's Yuri something. He basically, he was a KGB member, and he wanted no part of it anymore. He's like, I'm going to go to America. He went to America, and the CIA imprisoned him and just like tortured him for 5 years to make sure that he wasn't coming over to be a spy. He's like, I want to give you guys Russian information, and they're like, fuck that. They're like, we're gonna. They imprisoned him and tortured, like basically just like brought him to his deathbed. And then once they were like, all right, well, maybe this guy's fucking being for real, then they got information from him.
I
And
feel
what
like
he had to say is that the KGB wanted nothing to do with Lee Harvey Oswald. He knew about Lee Harvey Oswald because the dude's such a dumbass that like the whole agency is like making fun of him.
Yeah.
So I feel like although that's fucked up that we tortured him for 5 years, like
when he was willing,
we
to
have
give
to.
up his
You kind of have to.
We have
It's
to.
either- it's
No,
either
I mean-
you do that or you send him back to Russia. Those are
Russia's
your only two
sneaky as
options.
hell, man. We don't know what they're trying to do. Like,
Exactly.
they could
True.
easily send someone over and be like,
what-
"Hey,
what-
I'm coming over to your side."
Are you saying
now."
that 5 years wasn't enough? Do you think we should?
Dude, I think we should have pumped her up to 10. So, okay, I feel like we've talked about Lee Harvey Oswald. I want to get into Jack Ruby.
Jack Ruby is where this story kind of gets super interesting.
Because-
for me,
So who is Jack Ruby?
So, from what I understand, Jack Ruby, he owned strip clubs. He was he was not in the mafia, but he had ties.
Ultimately,
Mob ties.
he's the
He had
guy
mob
that
ties.
kills Lee Harvey Oswald.
So there is
Yes.
a video of Jack Ruby coming up to Lee Harvey Oswald as he's being police escorted, and he fucking shoots his ass in the chest.
That shit's crazy.
And
I've
then
seen that.
he just tries to say, "Oh, I wanted to defend our president. I wanted to defend our country."
Wasn't he like
Yeah.
going to court?
He's
or
a
something?
patriot.
Why would Jack Ruby of all people be the guy to be like, I'm fucking sticking up for our country?
Here's the thing. I'm going to present an argument that from the perspective of a small business owner, right? He's all about capitalism. He's all about profits. He's all about democracy. He's all about America. During this time, patriotism is pretty strong.
But why would he spend the rest of his life in prison for Lee Harvey Oswald?
He's just a real OG. He's like,
I just can't wrap my head around it.
I will rot in prison. What'd you say?
You guys want me to go crazy on this right now?
I would love you if you would.
Jack Ruby?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I've done probably 8 hours of research in the last week. Holy fuck. The majority of it was probably Jack Ruby.
Okay.
So,
he sounds like the interesting part.
So the thing about Jack Ruby is actually in that video, after he shoots Lee Harvey Oswald, you can hear him saying, "I'm Jack Ruby. Why am I here? Why would I do this?" He was saying that about himself, right? Like a fucking crazy person would say. But everyone who knew him and everyone who talked to him knew that he was a normal guy. He probably had some criminal ties and he was a shady dude, but he was a normal fucking guy. You could talk to him and he wasn't crazy. Well, like 2 weeks after he shoots Lee Harvey Oswald, he's labeled clinically insane by his doctor. While he's in his jail cell, they say he's insane. He's fucking completely lost it. He's having visions. He's seeing shit. His doctor is a guy by the name of Jolly West. That's his nickname. He's a doctor, but he had CIA ties. The CIA's never officially said that, but people who knew him and people who were friends with him knew that he had CIA ties, and he had ties to a group called MK Ultra. Mm-hmm. What MK Ultra was a mind control, what would you call it, operation through the CIA. And what Jolly West's specialty was making people go crazy without them knowing it.
Yeah.
That was what he was fluxed in, and he was that was his job. So what the fuck is this guy even doing in Jack Ruby's cell in the first place? If this is his job, this is what he does, is make people go insane without them knowing. Why is he in Jack Ruby's cell? Why is he his doctor?
Dude.
Right.
Dude, that's just so mind-blowing to me.
Can I touch on MK Ultra?
Yeah.
Like,
please.
That's like a big part of it. Like, so MK Ultra was like, it was recently released, like the whole project, like start to finish by like the government. And what it was is it was this program ran by the CIA where it's super fucked up, right? And it was around the time like Marilyn Manson was like big, you know? Mm-hmm. And what they would do is the CIA would hire out hookers, right? And they bring them to hotels and, you know, get Johns for them and all that. And they would bring them to motels and have like a two-way mirror or whatever, you know, where like, you know, it looks like a mirror from the one side and a window on the other. Mm-hmm. And they would drug the Johns without them knowing it with acid and then see how they react to it. They did this for years.
Yeah.
Acid, LSD, just any super strong hallucinogenic drugs, right? And they did it like that, and they also did it in like because you know it was the 60s, like it was fucking peace, love, positivity. Everyone wanted to smoke weed, everyone wanted to be a hippie. They do the same thing, but it'd be like these hippie hideout like fucking hotel rooms where they'd be like, hey, if you need a bed for the night, you know, you're living on the street, you need a bed for the night, there's fucking couches, whatever, we got sleeping bags. Just come in here and get fucked up with us.
Yep.
And it was all CIA agents.
Yep.
Disguised as fucking hippies, just feeding these dudes drugs and
just
studying
how they
react.
Seeing what they did.
Fucking crazy.
And how they like their justification for it was literally like, well, we have reason to believe that Russia's experimenting with mind control and LSD, so we're gonna do it. So
dude, that's the craziest part is that like half of this whole thing was just them experimenting with the general public on marijuana, LSD, ecstasy, like all of these drugs, and just observing what it did to everyone. So they're pumping drugs into like the normal economy.
And it's one
thing. And
thing,
they're feeding it just to observe.
And it's which I mean, like, is understandable, but not from that approach. Because, like, at the times it was big, and they're like, we don't know what the fuck this stuff is. You know, which I kind of, you know, there's kind of like a hint of like, okay, I get it. But number one, that's not the way to go about it. And number two, it's like especially with acid, if you don't know you're taking acid and you start tripping,
that'd be crazy.
Really,
I can't even fucking imagine.
That will permanently fuck you up.
I've never done it, but everything that I hear sounds like it would be terrible.
Like, if you didn't know, if you're completely ready for it, it's still the most intense thing you've ever done, and now you have no idea that you took it.
You're just like,
well,
I'm
mushrooms are much
I'm dying
shit and going, and that's
I'd freak out.
I think that had a part to play in what Jack Ruby did, because how do you go from being a perfectly sane, normal person, and then you just decide to shoot the president's assassin, and you're labeled clinically insane 2 weeks later, and no one ever hears from you again?
Especially when
you can't testify in court because you're insane.
Right.
Your doctor is a CIA fucking agent who specializes in mind control. Like
mind control quotations.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like that's one thing that people forget nowadays is they didn't have the internet. There was no social media. Mm-hmm. So the government could do things, sweep her under the rug, and the general public would never get, like, to us in the Midwest, we wouldn't hear shit.
The only
anything they told us on the news, that's what we fucking knew.
That's what you know. You know what they want you to know.
The only forms of media was television and newspaper.
And nowadays, you could never get away with something like this. Mm-hmm. Someone will leak it on Twitter. Someone will put it out there.
In a heartbeat. They got away with it in the 60s. Like, that's what I said. Conspiracy theories just didn't even exist in the 60s. And no one thought anything different than what the media
did. They had no idea the internet was going to become a thing.
Yeah.
Right. And the whole thing with this is, and it really brings it back to even modern day, is that, like, these same people that are controlling the narrative are also trying to control the narrative on social media. Mm-hmm. I mean, look at what was happening, Twitter, YouTube, anything, Netflix, Hulu. Like, we have it even on a small scale for our podcast, is like anything that mentions any specific words. I don't even want to say it because I know any video we say it in, the views are noticeably less, like way less. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. BLM, like anything that says any specific keywords that an algorithm can pick up on, like, you just get demoted. Like, they just don't push it to more people, regardless of what.
Without you knowing.
Exactly, without even knowing, like, what it's about. Mm-hmm. And that back in the day, it used to be, if we don't like what you're saying, we're just not going to put it in there.
Not only that, but completely change it.
Yeah, but also change it.
And then you're just a crazy guy on the side of the road with a fucking sign, and everyone's driving by like, look at this psychopath.
Because what are you going to do? Argue with the president?
Exactly.
He gives a speech on, whatever the main channel is. They're going to believe this random dude?
How are you going to get the word out?
Exactly.
If you didn't know the truth, how are you going to do it? You're going to talk to your neighbor?
Like, if you don't believe that the government has pumped false information over the years, you're just a fucking idiot.
That's what I was while I was doing my research and whatever else, someone, I don't remember, I was watching a podcast or something, and they said, every year since the JFK assassination, the American public has trusted the American government less. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Less. Ever since that happened. And because every year it gets, what is it? 60 years later now, and we still don't have the fucking all the information.
We don't know.
They're still withholding information. They still have thousands of documents that they won't give to the public. What the fuck are you hiding? It's 60 years ago. Everyone who's involved in this case is dead and gone.
I like this.
Is dead and gone.
I like how fired up.
That was my first thought too.
What are you hiding?
Yeah. And have you ever met an old timer that was old enough to know what was going on in that era?
I mean, I guess I can't
never
say
even
that
brought it up.
I've never brought it up. But
I work with this old timer, dude, and you mentioned JFK, he would get so irate. He would get so frustrated.
Wait. So how old would you have to be right now to have experienced that and know what it is?
Well, that was in the 60s.
November 22nd, 1963.
So it'd be
nice.
Or about upper 60s.
Okay.
And upper 60s, maybe lower 70s. You'd
if you were
old
baby,
enough to know
what's
60.
If you were a baby, you'd be 60 years old right now, right?
Okay.
It's 2023 almost.
So if you're a teenager, right?
Dang. Okay, I'm gonna have to ask my grandma and grandpa. Dude. I know they're watching this, so I'll probably already have talked to them by now. But
I bet
they're
pissed.
in their low 70s. I wonder what they experienced as being a younger teenager. That what is this like?
Right at the brink of teenage angst, where you're just pissed off at the world.
Pissed off. Anything you hear sets you off for no reason.
Yeah. No wonder why there's so many hippies, dude.
Exactly. So can we? So this is where I don't have the knowledge, and I'm relying on you guys. Can we get into what the CIA just released to the public? Because from what I understand, it's fucking insane. It opened up a whole new...
I can't say for sure what they did release, but I know they didn't release everything. Yeah. So there was a bill implemented that said it needs to be released by 2017. I don't remember what year it was. Early 2000s.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was made. Every single piece of information needs to be released by 2017. The last administration pushed a bunch of it out, and they withheld some information because they got major pushback from the CIA. Major pushback. And the same exact thing happened just a few weeks ago with this administration. They got huge pushback from the CIA, they released, there's like 95% of the documents are out now, which if there's only 5% left, which might not sound like a lot, but it's 60 years ago, you know?
This could be thousands and
thousands of documents probably.
Yeah.
And they're probably the best fucking ones.
They're still being withheld because it's like, and they're claiming that they're not hiding anything, but they don't want public backlash. If you're not hiding anything, then why would the public fucking freak out about it, you know? That's
I know.
Yeah. See?
And literally,
that's crazy.
Like a law went into effect. I believe, I want to say that there was 2 separate times. Like, I think the first occasion was in the 90s, like 92, I want to say. And then the second time was early 2000s. But still, it was like passed into law. So it was like literally a law saying, okay, everything that has ties to the JFK assassination, fork it over.
Needs to be released to the public.
And
they're still fighting it.
And that's 20 years ago now, you know? Early 2000s is 20 years ago right now. And they still are like, I don't know.
They just
and
said,
the CIA director, so Tucker Carlson did a bit on this, and they talked about the same thing. The CIA director right now never turns down a televised interview. He's a very public guy.
Yeah.
He wouldn't go on Tucker Carlson. They invited him on the show. He said, fuck no.
Why would you?
Not doing it.
What do you have to gain?
Not doing it. And then they went to an independent resource, which you can't know who it is, but you're assuming it's someone who had CIA ties.
Yep.
And they asked him, do you think that the CIA had involvement in the JFK assassination? And I believe his exact quote,
dude, we should look it up.
If I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure his exact quote was, yes, absolutely. It's all fake. This isn't the country you think it is.
Really?
Isn't the country think it is part.
God, dude, that shit just fucks me up, man. It's so fucking insane. Like, there was no one to fact check the government for years. They were able to tell the general public whatever the fuck. Think about UFOs. They just released those files recently.
Yeah.
People thought UFOs were real for years.
So much hidden shit. Don't let them. Don't even say that there's not people to fact check them now, because people still don't. They still get away with so much shit. They have to, you know.
Dude, like Jeremy Corbell dedicates a whole fucking career to it.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, and here's the thing too. It's like you go back and forth where it's like, is this necessary? You know, like you almost have to have it that way because I mean, maybe not so much now, but like back in the day, if they would have just released straight up, it'd just be like, yeah, here's the thing. There's aliens.
Yeah.
And they want at us, and we got to kill like 10,000 people in order to fight them off. People would freak out.
Dude, they could probably turn that into like, you know, a positive thing. Like, all right, everyone fight the aliens for America.
I mean, okay, picture this. You're on a panel, right? You're in a meeting with like 20 of the highest in the whole world, and I don't even know what this is, like country leaders, world leaders, whatever. And you all have to make a decision. Like, all right, hey, I mean, I know this is going to sound nuts, but like, hey, we're getting attacked by aliens, right? We're getting attacked by something that we don't know about. And the only way to stop this is we kill 1,000 people, or by telling everyone what's going on, we lose 100,000 people. What option are you going to choose? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like when you break it down and it's like, oh, we got to make this tough decision. What are you going to do?
On the other hand, though, if you do release it to the public, you know how many like people out, like if you made it well known, release it to the public, people will be, you'll have like, I don't know how countless people like dedicating their time into researching and solving that problem.
Yeah.
You know, because that's just how the internet works, you know? You ever scroll through Reddit threads, dude? Someone has like a fucking like big paragraph for every question or
But that's the thing.
Or,
the wildest part is like as good as it sounds or as good as it reads, you still don't know.
You don't
want to
cite
true.
Panic. Yeah,
you
it's
can't cite a Reddit comment. You know what I mean? Like that to a lot of people is
very
not credible.
well versed in their shit.
Well, that's one of the
and they may seem like that, but like you can't write that down. Like, hey, I saw this Reddit comment, and then be like, all right, yeah, oh yeah, okay, I believe you.
Well, I mean,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
You can't persuade me if I'm the opposition. You can't persuade me by saying I saw a Reddit comment,
especially when it's in a different medium like Facebook, comments. Or
so that's where like there's this weird gray area now where we don't really know what is real and what is not
that's the issue with it, is that we don't know what's real and we don't know what's
everyone else's opinion.
It's like a catch-22. Whereas
that's one of the biggest problems with the JFK assassination. Is it's so well covered. There's people that have dedicated 20 plus years just trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. There's thousands of books. There's documentaries, YouTube videos, podcasts. So there's absolutely everything, and everyone has a slightly different opinion on what happened.
Yeah.
You can't get to the fucking truth because there's 10 million opinions on
You're
what
right.
actually happened that day.
You're 100%
and what
right.
actually happened leading up to it.
Yeah, I
There's
totally
no
agree.
way you can ever figure it out.
Did you guys watch the new Marilyn Monroe documentary released on
Yes.
Netflix? Dude,
That shit was
phenomenal.
crazy,
and
dude.
that's even tied into the JFK assassination because in the documentary they talk about, Marilyn Monroe was a massive figure in Hollywood during the same time. And she got involved emotionally with JFK.
She was a major communist.
Yeah, one thing about JFK.
pushed communism.
What?
Marilyn Monroe. Yeah.
I'd switch to communism for her.
Me too, brother. But it makes you think, like, did someone reach out to her and that's why she reached out to JFK? Who knows?
But then again, and it's like, it's crazy because in the documentary, they interview all these people who were really close to her, and they, one of the people that really stands out to me was this gal, and I don't remember what was JFK's nickname? The Boss? Is that what it is?
Fuck, I don't even remember.
I can't remember, but God, I wish I remembered. They were in this interview talking about how they had first talked to Marilyn when she had first started seeing JFK, and she was nervous to tell everyone who she was seeing at the time. They basically were like, "Are you seeing anyone?" It's like, "Yeah, I am." And he's like,
Yeah,
he's a really
president of the United fucking
no,
States,
basically,
dude.
she's like, he's a powerful guy, and I can't tell you who it is, but they call him the Boss or whatever. You know?
So she just told everyone who the fuck he was without actually
Not everyone,
saying his name.
but
The
like,
boss can mean a lot.
but like, this
you're the
this
president,
one woman
people know your nickname.
who's being interviewed for the documentary, right? And she's like, I realized this is the president of the United States, and I'm like, holy shit, like,
That's a
wow,
big boss,
you're
dude.
you're really like going crazy with something right now. And then in the end of the interview, they basically go on to say like how people are starting to find out about this scandalous relationship and like how they cut ties entirely.
That John had that dog in him. Right. Everyone was figuring it out.
See, how come back then, dude, especially like, how many times has some president gotten ahead in the Oval Office?
We know Bill Clinton was
there's
getting
one.
busy.
We can assume it's a safe guess that there was at least two.
That is a safe guess.
I think
my
two
boy
for
Kennedy.
sure.
Two. Okay, listen though. If you're the president of the United States, you're telling me at least one time you got your old lady, and you're not gonna be like,
Every fucking
your
old lady.
You gotta do it.
Because every president got to walk in there and be like, I'm gonna be the first one to do this.
That's
Every single one of them was like, I'm the first one, and then they're the 42nd one to do
I
it.
become
for
president.
everyone.
I become president. I'm in the Oval Office. That's in the top 3 things I'm doing. Hey, First Lady, get your ass over here. You know what's up.
Yes,
Oh my.
we're getting wild.
Or whoever's famous at the time, or my receptionist.
Yeah,
we'll see what's up. Admin. You're right. I actually had a talk with Cody. We do not use the term receptionist anymore. It is now an admin.
Which
Apparently
is short
that's-
for
Administrator.
I think admin is. I think it's kind of degrading.
You guys are so PC. I love it.
This is so PC. Hey, Milwaukee Tools headquarters. If you're seeing this, we would love a sponsorship. No big deal.
So let's break this down. So I feel like there are 3 big answers to what happened. Like there the main 3 are 1, Lee Harvey Oswald killed him. Jack Ruby assassinated him. 2, the mafia killed him. They used Lee Harvey Oswald as a front. 3, the CIA killed him. They used Lee Harvey Oswald as a front. Used Jack Ruby as a front too.
to close that.
No matter
close
what,
that.
Lee Harvey Oswald's getting what he got what he deserves.
So do you guys think
Fuck that
Lee
guy.
Harvey Oswald is the one that pulled the trigger? Do you think he is the one that killed JFK?
I think to fully answer that question, like, you have to question the motive. No matter
Exactly,
what
yeah.
party was involved, like, they
Why?
would have to have a motive to use whoever, whatever tool they used or who they used. And it's like, I mean, I'm not very well versed in the whole, like, broad scheme of things, but I am aware that, like, the CIA did have some motive, some level of motive. Because he did want to, like, didn't he want to, like, abolish?
We never talked about was why the CIA would want to kill John F.
Because he was, like, a disruptor, right? Like, he wanted
He
to.
was the opposite. They were disruptors, and he was anti-war, like
Right,
Like, he was like the chill the fuck out guy,
disruptor
and
to the system.
They wanted to go to war with Cuba bad. They wanted Cuba. Like they were so I don't know if there was like the Bay of Pigs thing, which is, I don't even know how to get into that because I didn't do a ton of research on it. But I know shortly before JFK was assassinated, they had two plans. The CIA had two plans. They were gonna bomb a passenger plane and blame it on Cuba.
Oh, yeah.
And they were also going to use Cuban allies to invade Guantanamo Bay and kill Americans
that came
as
out.
Cubans. Okay. And JFK vetoed both of those things because he's like, you're poking at a fucking war. You're doing it on purpose. Like, there's no other reason you'd be doing that than to just get the American public behind the fact that we should go to war with Cuba.
Just like 9/11.
Just like 9/11.
That's our next one, dude.
That's a long one too.
No, that's a great point that you made though. Is they wanted to get completely rid of Cuba because we obviously if we wanted to destroy Cuba, we could fucking destroy Cuba.
2 days.
And JFK was like, nah, fuck that shit, dude. We're peaceful. Fucking love and peace, brother. We're hippies.
The CIA hated JFK. Whether they're going to say it or not, they hated what he was doing. They hated the anti-war. They wanted Cuba bad. They wanted to go to war with Cuba.
Because from what I've always understood is JFK, he was a young president. He was someone that wanted to change the times. He wanted to make us a different country. That's
a real threat to the status quo, you know.
And what he knew was detrimental to the CIA and the government itself. You know, just having all the information being the president. Dude, like, fuck, man, dude. This is such a deep conspiracy. It's just, we could do 10 parts on it.
Like, dude, like, can you imagine? Like, I mean, obviously, if they did release everything, there's no way around it. Like, they obviously had involvement. What other reason would they be withholding information?
But that's the thing is, even if the CIA came in with a full statement saying they had involvement, saying exactly how it went down, are you going to fucking believe them? They hid this story for 60 fucking years, and you think they're not going to try and cover it up again? They're not going to try and come up with a better story?
Or even just simple little details that make a huge difference, you know? Like, okay, here's the thing. We did hide some stuff, but we didn't hide Lee Harvey Oswald. You know, and then you'd be like, oh, okay. Yeah. All right, that's what it was.
I think no matter what happened, Lee Harvey Oswald wasn't just some crazy lunatic who decided he was going to kill the president. I think he was a setup man for something.
100%.
Whether it was the CIA, the FBI, the KGB, Cuba, anyone, he was the setup man, and someone used his dumb ass.
Plus, I don't know if we really touched on.
We can get this idiot.
Lee Harvey Oswald was a great sniper. Like he was the kind of guy that could make that shot.
There's a documentary that came out. No, not a documentary. There's a movie that came out a few years ago or whatever. And in that movie, they specifically say that the CIA wrote him off as a bad shot. They said, he only hit 8 out of 10 at 200 yards in Marine school, which to a Marine is probably average. 8 out of 10. Even us being from the Midwest and deer hunting, 200 yards, a 10-inch plate, you could probably hit 8 out of 10. Probably. I'm not saying for sure, but you probably could.
I'm pretty good.
But we also handle a lot more than the average everyday person. And this shot that he made at JFK was less than 100 yards.
It's a moving target, too.
It's less than 100 yards?
I think it was around 100 yards from the window to the road.
Okay.
Even if it was 200 yards, it's a motorcade. It's not like they're hauling ass. A moving target is 2 miles an hour.
It's a parade. Yeah, it's a parade.
There's a bunch of shit
they're
with
going like 2 miles an hour.
Right?
They're going at idle, basically.
The magic bullet theory.
That's
if you want to learn about the magic bullet theory, and just watch the Joe Rogan podcast, and he'll talk about how much he hates it for 20 minutes because apparently it's the most bullshit thing of all time, which it is, because this bullet that they found a bullet on the Secret Service member that was sitting in front of JFK. Supposedly the bullet went through JFK, through the seat, into this dude, and landed in his arm, and they found it on his gurney while they were rolling him into the fucking hospital. They found this bullet was just laying on the gurney, and it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's absolutely perfect. After it hit JFK's bones, through the seat, through his bones, and stopped.
Dude,
and it looks immaculate. Like they screwed it out of the tip of a fucking casing.
Isn't it a hollow tip, too? Like...
I don't know for sure, but this bullet's immaculate. I mean, if you've ever shot a gun at fucking anything besides a pool of water,
100%
is distorted,
especially
horribly distorted.
Like I've shot deer where it has an entry wound, no exit wound. You find it when you're skinning it, whatever. That bullet's always just fucked up as all hell.
Yeah, exactly. And there's another piece of that where the metal shavings that they found inside of just the Secret Service member's body alone, the metal shavings from the bullet they found inside of him were more than what was missing from that bullet.
That's so fucking
what a
wild.
shitty cover up. I mean, I know it was the 60s and you guys probably aren't like super good at conspiracy theory covers, but like, come the fuck on, like, put some effort into it, you know. Try it.
Seriously.
But if you think about like, you know,
I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
If you were in the position of, like, you were designated with the task of like, all right, we're all gathered here today because this happened, but we got to come up with something that doesn't say that. Like, you know, it's like how many people, how much time do they have? You know, how much emotion do they have at the time?
Oh yeah, it was a spur of the moment thing. It had to have been spur of the moment.
And it's like I don't blame them for having holes in it.
Secret Service agent.
And plus, like the fucking president got shot. People want to know right the fuck now what happened.
Oh yeah, because the president was God in the 60s. That's all people had. It's not
Especially
like today where
JFK.
you can talk shit about the president.
He had the people for like he was this new thing. He was going to change America.
Yeah.
People loved him. He was young, attractive.
And this was
he was like Bill Clinton, and everyone knew he was out there fucking, and they still loved him.
Yes.
Everyone hated Bill Clinton when they found out about that shit. JFK, he could have fucked anyone, and they'd have been like, "That's my president, dog. That's my president.
That's my boy."
That's my dog.
He got that dog in him, dude.
He got the ladies wet, dude.
Oh,
100%.
Oh my.
To all the female audience, all three of you, you know, like, I'm sure you can agree.
Hey, shout out
Palin. I know you're watching.
Shout out Bean Boys, baby
Shout
mama.
out Bean Boys, baby mama.
All right, shout out Bean Boys, baby mama. Other than that, I mean, here's the problem with all this is like, some of it gets so crazy in depth that it's like, that's almost hard to believe.
And there's so many overlapping, quote unquote conspiracies, but like, it's like, where do you start?
If you had to just cut point blank, what's the motive for the CIA killing JFK?
Well, I heard too that another thing was that I could be completely wrong, but I could be mixing it up. But I heard he was like wanting to go back to the gold standard too.
Okay,
but
why would the CIA not want that?
And like I heard he wanted to like cut out like certain branches of government.
Okay. Sam probably had to go.
We're just gonna let him walk out like that and not fucking say anything.
Dude, he's on the clock, isn't he?
Yeah, Sam left. Sam left. All right. Well, actually,
doing it?
We'll just be right back.
Okay.
It's time for a bathroom break. The boys will be right back.
Sam, what the fuck?
All right, boys and girls, let's get serious real quick. This episode is brought to you by Unlimited Masonry. If you need new brick, new stone, brick repair, stone repair, concrete, chimney repair, give us a call. The fuck was that?
Yeah, I shouldn't have done that, but I just. Well, they built this for us.
Oh shit!
Let's back to the episode.
I do like that actually. That would be funny as fuck.
What was that?
Because I got all the points across.
Yeah, you did.
Welcome back to On Tap with the boys. We just got pretty deep into the JFK conspiracy. We figured, what's more appropriate than a mid-show shot? So we're gonna drink a little bit of McGillicuddy's. What the fuck do you call that?
Menthol mint, baby.
Menthol mint.
A little cool down shot, if you will.
Little doctor's menthol. Get her head on
That
straight.
reminds me.
Okay. So where we left off was actually what the CIA motives were for killing JFK, right? He's trying to change their ideology of what they think the country should be, is basically what we've come down to, right? So at the end of the day, there's a lot of freaking reasons that a lot of people would want this man dead, including also now there is mob ties of some sort, right?
Yep. Yeah, with Jack Ruby. He had some mob ties from what we know, yeah.
So now you get money involved, you get power involved, you get women involved, and then all of a sudden, boom, you have dead people all over the place. What's the general consensus that we're now finding out? That obviously, one, the general public was lied to.
Yep.
There's a lot of details. Regardless of what the motive is, we can all agree that the story that was told originally is not the real story.
Fuck no.
And-
Fuck no.
And
Fuck that
wasn't,
story.
like,
Fuck the Warren Commission, too. I hope you guys are listening.
No, they're not.
They're all probably dead.
You don't hope they're listening. They are listening. Kanye.
Shout out Kanye.
Kanye? I know Kanye's on our side about this.
Hopefully Kanye gives us a shout out. No, maybe not.
Boost up the numbers of the pod a little bit.
Either way. Now,
So
like,
I was-
didn't. Oh,
go ahead.
Sorry. Okay.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Like,
Go ahead,
didn't
sorry.
like so people kind of got that vibe from what I understand of what I've like heard and like in the very little research that I did to prepare for this, is that it was like fairly recently after, like, I don't even know a number of how many years, but like people had suspicions that the original narrative after he was shot initially was not the right thing,
was bullshit.
And then
the American public called bullshit on
and they came out with a statement that just kind of like saying that, okay, it wasn't this, but it was this. And I kind of feel bad for bringing it up because I don't know exactly what they said. But
That's okay.
I wish I could help you.
I wish I could. I
really
wish I
do
could
wish I
help
could
you
help
also. So, but the general consensus is
So-
that the trust in the government
Right.
has also gone down every single year since that moment.
And I mean, I would too, especially after like they release an official statement saying that what they said originally first was not the correct thing.
Yeah.
And whatever they did say, I can't imagine that it would be anything like helpful to the situation to actually kind of inform the public on what actually happened.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
throwing them on a different fucking trail,
And
know?
one thing to think about too, like every time that this gets put into the limelight again, like every time this gets brought up in any popular
gets
media of any
fucking
sort,
swatted.
it gets changed every time from
Gets
what we thought
swatted.
before.
Every time
So,
it
like,
gets brought up, the CIA swats it. They say, fuck no. We're not even going to talk about it anymore.
We're done.
They just hide it. Why are they still hiding? That's the one thing that doesn't make sense about this entire story.
It's so long ago.
Everyone who's involved with this case, period. All the detectives, all the fucking suspicious people, everyone who was there is fucking dead. And if they aren't dead, they were 12 years old and they didn't even know what the fuck was going on.
And see, like,
So
wouldn't
why are
that-
you still hiding it?
wouldn't that
I mean, I really
benefit-
want to know.
Wouldn't that benefit them? Because like there's obviously there's such a distrust in it now, right? I mean, can't
In the government, you're saying?
Yeah. Like, don't you agree that there's like a
As
certain
a
Yeah.
general consensus,
Right.
I would say,
For
you know,
sure.
80-90% of the people you walk up to on the street would say they don't 100% trust what the American government's doing.
and what a better
Yeah.
move than
Really.
to right now release a statement actually, like convincing the
Telling the
CIA
truth.
to give up. Yeah. Wouldn't that, I mean, obviously, like, it'd be like, yeah, 60 years ago we were fucked up.
Unless it's so fucking nasty that they can't bring it up.
What could
you
it
know?
be, though? What's that fucking nasty thing that they're hiding?
Impossible to know.
Or is it just the admission of, yeah, we smoked our own president? Fuck with us, dude.
Yeah, that's a hard one to admit to the
We'd be a
general
bad-
public.
Part of me would be like,
at the very least, you gotta have that dog in you and be like, yeah, we killed
Right.
him.
We're a bad
What the fuck are
motherfucker.
you gonna do about it?
right.
At the very least, that's all. I mean, if you're really gonna boil it down, like,
Yeah.
you can't give us a bullshit story because it's just gonna be like everyone's gonna call it a lie. Just be like, yeah, we fucking did it.
And that's
Dude,
not.
what
I
I
would
would
take.
Part of me would have such pride in our country. Like, dude, we're the bad motherfucker.
I don't know. I feel like my thing would be like, ugh. This is the part that's scary. Is like, if you just don't like what they think, you're done.
It is, but
That's
isn't that what
freaky
you
to me.
believe already?
Not really. No,
Really?
I mean,
Would it be
people
such
that
a
have an
surprise to you,
opposition to
though?
me? I mean,
I don't
on
think
any
it would be a
disagreement,
surprise to me
I don't
at
want
all.
them to die. I just want them to know
I
my
tell you right
perspective.
now, if this podcast was as big as Joe Rogan's podcast, that dude's got some nuts on him because the way he talks about this bullshit, he's got too big of a following to be talking shit on the CIA like he does.
Oh,
Seriously, though,
Fucking
dude.
for real.
But
I honestly think if there was 20 million people watching us right now, I don't think I'd want to talk about this.
We'd
I
fucking-
really don't think I would.
No,
dude.
fuck that, dude.
I don't think
Done.
I would.
Because what I feel, just being that regular, everyday dude with like minimal information on a lot of shit,
A
dude.
regular, everyday, normal guy.
Yeah, like obviously
Your
other
average
people
Joe.
are feeling that.
Shout out Average Joe's Gym, Dodgeball.
So I feel like to wrap this segment up, because obviously we could talk about this shit for hours.
I've about it for years.
Let's agree that Lee Harvey Oswald did not act alone. Let's agree that Jack Ruby was not this fucking American hero that gave up his entire life
And strip club.
just to
And strip club.
just
Why
to
don't you give up the strip
assassinate
club?
See, let's
Lee Harvey
discuss-
Oswald.
Let's discuss that. If you own a
And-
strip club, no, I'm just kidding.
And let's agree that the CIA probably had something to do with it.
They had to have. If they didn't have anything to do with it, they'd release 100% of the documents without a question.
That's the one.
If they didn't have
Yeah.
anything to do with it,
Unless
it would be released to the
there's
American
more
public.
So
to it that
if
we
you
can't
guys
know.
if you guys really liked the JFK talk, we would love to do a part 2, especially as more shit gets released.
Absolutely. I'm more than willing to do another 10 hours of research.
But I think it's time that we move into an old segment that I think some people loved. I loved it myself. I think we go into a top 3.
So I think we could all
bullets.
agree that the JFK assassination was at least top 3 most time-changing events in the United States history.
In the history,
Since
yeah.
we've
Well,
been in
like Mitchell said, that's when conspiracy theory became a thing.
And that's
The
when people
word.
started not
Yeah.
trusting the government.
In
Up
that-
until that
Yeah.
point, when the president said something, you fucking believed it.
It's a cultural shift, you know. It's
Completely.
and it kind of opens up that gateway of, holy shit, what I'm being spoon-fed might not actually be the truth, and then that opens up a whole nother series of doors.
Right.
Can you imagine the mindfuck, the cultural mindfuck after that, dude? No, and especially
People
with the
feel like I don't know what to believe.
and especially like 20 years prior to the 60s, right? Was like World War II, like such a fucking unit of an era where like everybody came together and they were donating to the cause and fighting the Nazis. The ideal fucking like textbook, almost fictional bad guy. Like if you picture bad guy, that was
Hitler's
Nazis.
your guy that you think of.
Yeah.
Even,
You know?
even today, even, 100, I mean,
Except
80
for
years
Kanye.
later, even 80 years later, when you think, who's the worst guy ever? What's
Hitler.
the first fucking thing you think of? Is
Every
Hitler.
time.
That's
That
the
like
first
just
guy.
like black and white. Obviously, he was a heavy black.
And we whooped his fucking ass, dog.
Right.
Fuck that guy. I
think actually he was white.
Single baller
Well,
idiot.
So
Do we know?
Sam, start us off. What's one of the top 3
Yeah.
worst things that's ever
Well-
happened to
Well,
you?
did we even,
So
did we even say that? Did we even say what the top 3
So
was?
I want to bring us into this, and this is something we did for a while, the top 3 whatever, and Mitchell actually wanted to bring this back, so we let him pick the topic, and I think Mitchell should start and explain to us what our
So,
top 3 will be
with
this
the
week.
other top 3s, I loved them, and I thought they were super good. All the answers were awesome, but they were very specific. And what I wanted to do was broaden the horizons, at least for one. Obviously, you can't do it for every single one. But what I said to the guys, we have a Snapchat group chat, and I said, I want you to list your top 3 worst things. And as broad as you want, to the horizons, it doesn't matter. When you think of the worst thing ever, name your top 3.
So how about you rip off the
You
first
want me
one?
to
We'll
give-
go.
you want me to give a
We'll go
start?
you, Cody, me, and then Bodie.
I got to get my list out. Hold on. Let me get my list out.
Oh, he's got it written down.
I got a novel.
He's pulling it out.
Hey, I would make fun of him, but I got my list up right now.
Really? I just got it all up here.
See, I'm just trying. I want to win, man.
I'm in the
See,
moment.
should we bring punishments because we used to do punishments. This shit got real.
Here's the
Oh,
thing.
we're bringing
punishments were devalued.
Punishments.
Fuck you,
Punishments were
Cody.
devalued ever since Sam agreed.
I'll
to
tell you
not
right
do
now, if I win, there's gonna be a fucking punishment. 100%.
How do you? What's the scale? How do you win? How do you get that?
It's vote.
So our voters
Our
vote
vote.
on
The
Snapchat.
viewers vote
at
on Snapchat.
OnTap official on
So-
Snapchat.
On the Snapchat, let us know who had the best list of the worst. It's this broad, worst things. It
Now-
could be
Yep.
literally anything.
At
I have a
OnTap
question.
official on Snapchat.
Now, as
Add
a
it if you
precursor,
haven't.
I believe the episode's gonna come out Monday morning.
Yep.
Tuesday.
Do you guys
Tuesday
want to just
morning.
hit the Snapchat Sunday night, Monday night? Doesn't matter. Just vote for me. Let's be realistic here.
Well,
It
they
doesn't
won't
matter
hear
if you've
this
seen it.
until after.
Okay, well, the 3 people that are in the studio right now, just fucking do me a solid because I got a pretty
Jamie
good
1, Jamie
punishment.
2, Jamie 3.
The Jamies will get.
Are you ready?
No,
Your
no,
top
I'm
one.
sleeping,
I'm ready.
dude.
What's your number 3?
My number.
Are you starting with number
Are we
1?
starting
Your
with
worst?
the absolute worst? Or are we starting with
Start with your lowest.
the lowest?
Lowest.
I have a question.
Your
Before we
least
start
worst of
this.
the worst.
Does this apply to things specifically to you that like interact with your day-to-day
Dude,
life?
it
or
is
altogether?
so open that
It
it
is
is
completely
anything.
Yeah.
Completely open.
I love that.
Okay, my
Let it-
first
Let
one.
it buck.
Picture this: you're in math class, and you've been going through a lecture. 45 minutes in, you're just dragging your feet, and you're like, "All right, we only got 5 minutes left of this bullshit. Let's just." Every time the teacher answers a question, we're gonna fucking have an answer for them. Every time they ask, we got it. My first top 3 worst things is when you answer a question in school with complete confidence and you get it horribly fucking wrong in front of everyone.
Dude, I can
like
relate
that.
Horribly
to
wrong in front of
that,
everyone.
man.
All your friends are like, "Oh, you fucking idiot."
Yeah.
Yeah. I've
then
been
the-
there. I've
Your
definitely been
your
there.
math teacher asked you a question and you answer 8 and the answer was 674 and your friends
Just
fucking
degrading.
torch you for the next 2 days.
And then
for
when the
looking
teacher
like a
kind
dipshit.
of gives you like a subtle jab of like, well, no,
Yeah.
actually, like, you know what I
the,
mean?
the absolute
How'd you get
worst,
that?
The absolute worst is when that's bad too.
been perfect.
That's bad too. But if they just don't even respond and they just say, "What did you get?" And they just go to the next guy.
That is worse.
Okay. Am I going?
Yeah.
I'm up. I'm going to say my least worst of the top 3 worst is going to be people with bad breath intentionally getting close to you in conversation.
Oh,
pretty
dude.
And there's no
Yeah.
way
Dude.
to explain to someone your breath smells like shit. Get away from me.
Just
there's
close-
no
Dude.
there's no
Oh
easy
my
way.
God.
So you just like deal with it, right?
Oh,
And
I
that's
100%.
the worst. That's the worst. Unless it's someone you're already beefing with or a family member. Then I have been like, "Hey, listen, your breath stinks. Get away from me." You know?
Yeah,
That's the only time.
100%.
Someone I'm beefing with or a family member. Otherwise, I just won't say anything. I'm sorry. That's the worst. That's the third worst.
So, for me, mine's an all-time classic. I feel like everybody can relate to this.
Don't say it.
For my number 3, it is running out of toilet paper when no one else is home. You're doing that little waddle over to the fucking toilet paper stash.
I'll give you that. But I'll say I think it's worse if there is people.
I was going
home.
to say that
I
same
think it's
thing.
worse if someone's got to bring you the shit
but
paper.
if you got a fucking bro, if you're living with a roommate especially, hey man, I'm out of toilet paper.
No, it's
Yeah.
more like this.
Please bring me a roll.
yeah.
And then they come in clutch. But when you're alone, dude, you're doing that little waddle over to the fucking other bathroom where the toilet paper's stashed. That shit sucks, man. And not to mention, it makes it harder to wipe.
Dude.
Yeah. No. Hey, I'm not going to disagree
it's-
with you that does.
Like
fucking
wiping
suck.
the tip of a Sharpie marker. Never goes away.
Yes, sir.
Never goes away.
Have you ever been in a scenario where you're out? Like,
Oh.
you got to improvise.
Oh, fuck, dude. You
That's
jump
like-
in the
like
shower.
Step-
You
no,
jump
no,
in the
Step Brothers-
shower,
with Step
man.
Brothers, where he grabs the rug off the floor and he's wiping his ass on the rug, and then he buys the fucking 36 pack of toilet paper.
Yep.
Yeah.
When he's successful.
I'm going
Dude.
straight shower.
Tradesman.
Dude, you gotta.
Tradesman
You gotta.
Tradesman will feel this, dude, because at least once you're working, and the only there's no establishment where you have a bathroom. It's all shitters, all mobile. Fucking linemen probably don't even get that, dude.
Yeah, no, we got the blue saunas at our show up yards.
Oh,
out on the fucking right away when you're in a cornfield, buddy. The cornfield is your shitter. Yeah. Okay. You better hope that motherfucker's tall enough where people don't see your asshole, and you gotta walk into that corn far enough where people don't throw shit at you.
Lineman apprentice,
that-
but
And you
Lineman
come out.
apprentice.
You come out of that bitch with your sleeves
That is
missing.
My
dude.
absolute favorite game of. No, we carry shit paper in the trucks. We're way ahead. We're way ahead of the schedule on the sleeve shit.
That's why they go to school to learn
The,
shit
the
like
best
that.
game in the world is if you're in a bucket truck or if you're sitting on a digger where you're high enough, you can see the corn move, and you know this guy's going to take a shit. He says he's going to go take a shit.
Yeah.
Once you see that corn stop moving, you grab anything you can fucking find and you whip it at him. Fuck that guy. That's the best.
Really?
Oh yeah,
That's a common thing?
in the lineman world for
That's
sure.
crazy.
lineman apprentice. But Bodie, will you please lead us in with your
Business
third,
manager.
Third.
with your number three,
Your number three
worst
Oh
thing?
man,
ever.
dude, I want to dish out my number one so
Dude, do
bad
it.
I wanna
because
dish
it
out my
pisses me
number
off
one
so
for
Get
bad.
it before we take it.
Oh my god! See, the first thing when you say worst things, before you even finish that sentence, one thing comes to mind, and it's the number one driver in my life on the negative side of things is when people eat with their mouth open.
Oh, dude,
they
I could
breathe.
fucking talk about that
Oh my
shit all
God.
night.
What if the
they-
food's
no.
hot? What if the food's hot?
No, there's no fucking excuse.
No excuse, exactly. And it's there's no other reaction that I have experienced in my entire 24 years of living, dude, that is like that. When I hear some,
You ever been around a really loud coffee sipper?
dude,
When
anything,
the coffee's too hot, it's
dude, that's
I could fucking punch you right in the head.
exactly.
God damn it.
It makes my whole fucking nervous system just tense up, and I want to choke out the person whoever's doing it.
Dude, and it's
Cody's
such a
looking
hard
up worse
thing.
things right now.
It's a
He's
hard
like,
thing
oh
to
my
be
God,
like,
my ass
shut
right
the
there.
fuck
phone's blowing
up.
dude, and like people do it without knowing. People do it without even fucking hearing their own like
Crazy.
Okay.
Even like intros, like
Yep.
songs with like Sibling, bro, like that
Just-
even drives
just
me
gets
nuts.
ya.
nuts. Yeah.
So we've got
I get it.
eating with your mouth open. Mitchell, bring us in.
You want number 2?
Give me a
My
big number two, big boy.
is very social media influence, and I'm saying if you're over the age of 40 years old, you don't relate to this as heavily as we do. Showing your friend a meme or a TikTok that they've already seen and them going,
Oh,
if
that's
they've already seen it, you send the meme and they said, I've already seen that.
Dude.
Haha.
Fuck you. Just send a laughing face, you dickhead.
I'm that
Fuck
guy,
you.
bro. I've seen everything
I hate
already.
it. So have I.
the
So have I.
worst-
But I have the common courtesy to
And
send a laughing
if
face.
someone starts
your
showing
hole.
me something on their phone, like, hey, watch this, I will immediately be like, I already saw that earlier this morning. Turn my head.
You're a fucking.
I am
you're
that
the
guy.
Scum of the
I was
earth.
gonna say
you are
that
fucking
guy. The
pond
The worst
scum.
is like they'll watch the video. If I show it to them, like, oh my god, look at this. They'll watch the video. Haha. Yeah, that was so funny. I saw that last week.
Oh, dude.
And it's like, oh, you just wasted both of our time.
Yeah, I'll
now.
just
I'm
go
not
fuck
that
myself.
Guy, man. I'm not
It's
that guy.
diff-
If someone shows me a TikTok that I saw 20 minutes ago, I know
You're like,
the word for word. I'll be like, oh, fucking, that's hilarious, dude. That's awesome. I'm a good guy, and I'm not gonna.
You're a liar.
I'm not gonna go back on that.
You're the CIA.
It's a white lie. That's a
You fucking killed
It's a lie
Kennedy,
that
dude.
behooves everyone, dude.
Dude, I play it out like I let them know right off the bat. I'm completely transparent. Dude, oh yeah, I seen this, but then I'm with it though. I'm with it though. 'Cause
You
if-
play
if-
the part.
yeah,
you
that's
play
great.
the part.
If it is a
loved
good
it.
video, it works the second, third, even fourth time.
Yep.
Yeah,
You know?
that is true.
And I
No
still
matter
enjoy
what,
the moment.
if it really is good and you watch it the second time, it's good.
Yeah.
You know, it is.
Yeah.
You can't argue with it. You can't be
Yeah.
like, no, I already fucking
Okay.
saw this, dickhead.
Yeah,
fair.
you're just a dickhead then, dude.
That's fair.
So, Cody, what's
All
your
right.
number 2?
I'm gonna say my number 2 is, and now that I'm looking back on it and reflecting, a lot of my top 3 list actually has to do a lot with personal hygiene. But it's people that have a lot of body odor, like that strong onion post-workout, post-hockey practice smell, and like, how do you not smell that? I don't understand.
that like
If I
Dude.
smell it on myself, I'll fix it.
100%.
Even
I
if
get
I'm
one
alone
whiff
in bed.
I get one whiff, and I'm like,
fuck,
oh,
we said it at the same
I'm
time.
showering instantly.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, not shower.
Dude, I was that kid
I'm
in
not
high
that into
school.
it.
If I was sat next to the smelly kid, like, you know, you get the new seating chart, you see who you're next
Yeah.
to. I was going straight to that teacher being like, nah, this is not going to work.
Yeah.
And some of them were like, I get it. The other ones were like, nope, you're toughing this one out.
Yeah, I remember we were in lower grade school, and me and one of my buddies were just completely assing off in the back of the classroom, sat next to each other, and the teacher, this girl was missing that day, and the teacher told my friend, hey, move into this seat. I'm not dealing with you guys' shit today. This specific girl had a problem with wetting herself.
Oof.
And my buddy
Oh,
goes,
that's
my buddy
bad.
stands up middle of class. I mean, we're probably 5th, 6th grade. I'm not sitting there. She fucking pisses herself.
No way.
Right to the office. Right to the office. Straight.
Dude, you
Oh.
gotta. I'd be that guy.
That's mean. That's
It
so
was.
mean.
She wasn't there, so it's not like you said it to her
Oh,
face.
okay.
But the whole class heard it. Like we all knew.
I ain't getting that residue on my shit,
Yeah.
dude. No.
residue.
So,
I feel so bad. I gotta tell one story quick.
yeah, I would love to hear it.
When we were in like 7th grade, oh, I feel even bad saying
Oh
this.
my God, Cody
There
pissed
was a
herself.
girl.
Rip, dude.
There was a girl that became a woman in one of our classes.
Oh.
Had,
Oh.
you know what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah.
Chair
yeah.
was stained, and some poor soul, some kid went and sat in it, and he was wearing a white T-shirt.
Oh,
That just
God.
just so happened to be long
No.
enough where it was on his butt, and he went to sit on the seat right after she had left, and no
Damn
one
it,
really
dude.
knew why she left, and boom,
Damn
red
it, that
all over the
sucks
back
for
of his shirt.
everyone involved.
Dude, how do you
Oh.
even
There's
come
not
back from
nobody
that?
wins in that scenario.
Both people,
The
both
girl
of them
loses,
were
the man loses.
Not
the
bullied, but
teacher
laughed at.
fucking loses.
Oh, they.
Everyone
shirt's
loses.
probably
You better
fucked,
get
man.
as the guy that sat in it. You better get fucking laughed at. That's
Yeah, you
how it
better
works.
get bullied. Better get
That's how
bullied
it
for sure.
works.
Watch where you're sitting, bud.
Yeah, toughen up. Idiot.
tough. That's
Yeah, that
tough.
is that is.
I'm sure that affected him for a long
Oh,
time.
I'm
Yeah,
sure.
Be a dog. Do a circle. Do a circle before you take a seat. Maybe check out what you're
To
sitting
this
in.
day, he's probably doing that.
Yeah.
Observation.
Oh, for sure. I would be. I'd do it right now. What if
Sam,
someone set a fucking peanut butter
bring
cup
us
on my
in.
chair, dude?
Number
so
2.
for my number 2, and I would love for you guys to argue this because there's no argument to be had. It's set in stone. For my number 2, worst things in the world, being racist. Argue me. I'd love to hear it.
You are a pretty bad person.
Argue
you are a pretty
me.
bad person. I'm not going to say that you're
How
not a
is
bad
being one of the worst things in this world? Being racist. Come on.
That must
And you
Let me
know
hear
so
the
intimately.
argument.
You
What's
know
actually
so intimately.
funny that you're the one to bring this up because you're the most racist person I know.
By far.
I would like to see the facts.
Not even a competition. The most racist.
Yeah, you know what? Obviously,
You're lucky I'm a good guy and I haven't
this
caught
is
you
this
in
is
4K
classy racism, just turning it against the non-racist guy who came up with an amazing idea for worst things. Because I would say racism is probably in the top 3 worst things in this whole world, and of course they're gonna try to turn it against me because that's how racists work.
This is gonna be one of
I
those
just think
things
it's funny that you brought it up because usually when you bring it up, you say it as a positive thing. You say, I
So-
wish more people were racist.
For my second pick of the worst things, racism. Bodie, please give us your number 2.
Well, as a Jew, I'm offended by that. No, I'm just kidding. This is gonna be one of those
Shut up,
things.
Kanye.
Shut up.
It's gonna be one of
Shut
those
up,
things that
Kanye.
AI flags, dude, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, in the spur of the moment, when I think of worst things, one of the worst things that comes to mind that I think affects everybody, no matter you could put a fucking monk right in this situation, and they would at least twitch in the moment. Right?
Bald-headed robed bastard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I once saw a monk smoking a cigarette walking on the side of the road.
That's
once.
You sure it just wasn't
Yeah,
a bald
dude.
guy in a robe?
Dude, it was wild.
Could have been my dad.
It was actually Master Roshi from Dragon Ball Z.
He probably kicked my ass, dude. He probably knew
Yeah.
some Shaolin or something.
Yeah.
He breaks out a fucking stick. So it's
Those are
Yes.
called nunchucks, but yes.
And 2 steps.
hey, we're not trying to be racist here, buddy.
Okay.
Okay, dude.
Bad driving habits.
Wait,
I
where
think-
is this coming with monks? What are you saying?
I don't know, dude. I was in the I got lost on a
How many
tangent.
fucking bush lights have you had, dude? No, I agree with you on the bad driving thing. I don't even think monks can drive. They're like the Amish,
okay.
dude. Are they even allowed to use fucking cars?
If I was to backtrack, it went from
we went way too far. You went way too far on the monks. Don't bring them up again.
I said with the monk thing, like no, dude,
Don't say monk again.
You put Mr. Buddha, dude, behind the wheel.
Yeah.
And if someone cuts his ass off in traffic, no.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see what you're
Channel
saying.
the
You just
energy.
went from monks to bad driving. I'm like, okay, I don't see.
No, I love
I
monks.
knew where he was at, but I was just like, I don't know why he robbed fucking monks.
Monks
Just
are the
say it
best
pisses
things,
everyone
dude.
off. I mean, monks can't drive, can they? Is
I'm
that
in
a thing?
agreement.
I don't
can
fucking
drive.
think so.
They're not
Monks can
Amish.
drive.
They are
No.
not Amish. They
Monks
can do
can't
that.
drive.
Yeah, but I feel like if a monk needs a ride somewhere, he's going to the Amish before he's going to me. Like,
Maybe.
Oh, that's another thing is
Maybe.
I get pissed about bad driving, but I'm not a horrible driver, but I'm an aggressive driver. I do not drive defensively. I'm a fucking. If I got
You have
places
to
be
have. Yeah.
on the way to work, 60 miles an hour. Follow the speed limit, do my thing. If there's someone going super slow, get around them, whatever.
Yeah.
Way home from work, dude, I'm trying to get home. I'm trying to have a beer, take a shower, go to bed.
I got a shit.
I
80
agree.
miles an hour. I don't give
So
a
you're
fuck. Get out of my way.
devaluing Bodie's top second.
I'm not
you're
trying
saying.
to do that. I'm just saying
That's what you're doing.
I would like
no,
to-
I'm saying I hate bad driving habits just as much as the next guy.
But you
when
do it.
when I'm being a good driver, but I also do it.
so, Bodie, can you get a little more specific
Oh,
in who has
absolutely.
the bad driving habits?
Whoa,
I don't want to.
Jesus, dude.
I was gonna
No,
profile.
does this go
Oh.
against your number 2? Is what you're trying to get at right now?
No, I'm just saying.
I
He-
mean,
he
we all know.
kinda,
Are you profiling?
he didn't really specifically say who has the bad driving. Is it a general term? Is it a
He's
specific?
prodding. Look
We
at his
all-
face.
we
Look at
all
his-
know
he's
the
prodding. You know what he's
answer.
doing.
We all know the answer.
Okay, Mitch. What's your absolute worst? Your number 1 pick for top 3.
God, I've been waiting for this. I wanted to say it number 3 because I was afraid it was going to get taken the whole time. Top 3 worst things ever: the Holocaust.
Yeah,
All right, so my top 3.
I mean,
just no
it sums it
commentary.
up pretty well.
Okay, yeah, okay. Mic drop. I'm going to say my absolute worst thing. People that try to bring Holocaust and racism into top 3 lists all the time. I'm gonna say
100%
that's-
agree.
That just
I
kidding.
think it's the easy cop out.
Debunk. That's not my top. That's not my. That's
I
not my
said
top
be
one.
broad. Every one
I'm
of you guys
saying
could have taken Holocaust.
number 1 worst thing, and I'm going to double down on this from a previous episode.
Sam's attitude.
I'm going to say seasonal fast food items, including the filet of fish, the McRib.
Stand by. Is the filet of fish a seasonal?
Yeah.
Who cares?
I
They
thought
suck.
it was a year-round deal.
That's a Lent thing, dude.
It should just be gone for
That's
good.
a suburban
No.
legend. That's water under
The
the
filet
fridge.
of fish is year-round. TCAF.
Oh,
Yeah,
of course,
TCAF.
fucking
You're a TCAF.
TCAV
Hey, Jamie,
is
pull- Jamie,
fucking
Jamie,
versed
pull it
in
up.
filet of fish.
Jamie, pull it up. Pull it up.
The McRib sucks. I agree, man. I can get into
I
this.
agree.
Seasonal
with
fast food items.
They
suck.
always
They're
fucking
not
suck.
limited. They're not good. They're not special. The freaking St. Patrick's Day shake at McDonald's. What is that?
The
Shamrock Shake.
They don't have that anymore.
Hey,
Bullshit.
hold up. Fuck you. The
bullshit.
Shamrock Shake's good.
No, I
don't
like
have
it.
it
It's a bullshit
I like
thing that
it.
it's only seasonal.
I'm saying the idea of it
Yeah.
is
I
bullshit.
agree.
That
I
shit's
completely
good,
agree.
though.
That's the worst thing.
I've even called
TCAV, what do you got on the
McDonald's.
filet of fish?
No, it's not.
Gross.
Wow.
No, it's not.
Wow.
Year round. Okay.
That's
that
some-
debunks
You would have
that.
gone
It
off a
used to
lot
be-
better if the filet of fish was seasonal. That would have
Did it-
gone a lot better with
It
me.
used to be seasonal, did it not?
Don't care.
I think
Never.
you're thinking McRib.
Never
Jamie.
fucking
Jamie.
looked into that.
Jamie, can you take a
It's
peek
so
at that for us?
fucking gross.
Okay. Well, that's my number.
So,
be fair,
for my worst, this
Me either.
so this one has a lot of roots, and
Trees.
the thing is, being
Okay.
a fat guy like myself, this one hits hard, and I think all my big homies are gonna understand. Farting in public,
Oh my god.
because whether it's you or someone around you, the fat guy's getting blamed every fucking
Buddy,
time.
the skinny kid always
Really?
gets away with it.
Oh.
The skinny kid always gets away with
Always.
it. Every
And
time.
There is nothing worse.
There's no way a fart came out of him. He's 92 pounds. That
Dude.
he gets away with it every time. Dude.
We
And
let
I'm always
out-
the guy. Oh, that's disgusting.
We
You're not
let
giving
out the
fat
bad
idiot.
one.
Dude, there is nothing worse
Yeah,
than a
you guys are
girl
dirtbags,
giving you
dude.
that fart look of just like gross.
See, you all probably know my wife.
Oh, you
will
fat
just
boys
straight up
definitely
call
know.
me out. She'll
Yeah.
just straight up call me out if I'm out in public and I
She
fart.
knows your farts.
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
dude, I've heard her be like, Cody, you're just gonna fart in my fucking face.
She'll just straight up call me out. Doesn't matter if I'm with five people.
your farts.
Oh, absolutely. It doesn't matter if I'm with
That's a
five
wife
people
right there. That's the
or
difference between a
50
wife and a
people.
girlfriend.
Dude,
Is a
she'll
girl-
freak out.
You can fart in front of a girlfriend, but a wife knows it's your fart.
She'll straight up in front of everyone. Oh, yep, that's a Cody fart.
Dude, and that is
100%.
so
funny.
embarrassing.
No,
man.
doesn't that make you happy as a big boy that he's getting fucking dogged
It
on
does.
finally?
It really does,
You know
because
he made it through grade school without
if-
anyone calling him out.
If
on
he
it.
didn't get called out, his fucking nasty fart was going to me next.
For sure,
People are looking around. They're trying to
saying
pinpoint
if
who
Taylor's
it was.
Not there, it's you.
Yeah.
You're getting
Dude,
blamed.
people are looking around pinpointing the fart suspect. They always land on the fat
Fat
dude.
guy. We get
Every
blamed
fucking time.
And try arguing your way out of being blamed.
It
for
wasn't me. It
Good
was
luck.
okay, fat boy.
Good luck.
That's
We
why-
know you had McDonald's for
That's
breakfast
why in
and
my,
lunch.
in my adult life, I've learned to claim every fart in front of everyone I know.
You gotta.
because then if someone farts and they blame it on you, you can be like, dude, I claim it every fucking time. Like, don't act like I wouldn't have said it was
That's
me.
the
That's the key. You just gotta-
100% sure way to win.
You have to.
100%.
That's the thing that pissed me
I'll
off too.
fart loud in front of people now. Just be like, fuck it, I don't give a shit.
You're
And-
sitting
and can
at-
I-
do about it.
You're sitting at a table, dude, with 5 people, and you know all of them are full of shit. Literally.
And can I be honest for a
someone's
second?
lying.
Being the fat dude, I've blamed it. I have put the blame on other people.
You want to
And
get
it
it off?
doesn't
you.
work, man.
No.
They're like, okay, fat boy.
Yeah, you
Of course it was you.
So you
Dude,
can't
especially
win.
when you're younger and insecure and worried about what you look like and what you are to other people, dude. The first thing you got to do is try and put it on someone else.
Oh, you gotta.
Dude,
Yeah.
It's a
they're
defense
gonna
mechanism.
try and blame it on me. Even if I did it, I gotta try and push
I
it as
have
hard
to.
as I can to someone else. Like
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna be the fucking guy. I'm sick of
100%.
being the guy.
I get that.
Bodie. What's
shit.
What's your absolute worst?
Is this the final one?
Final one.
This is the final third.
Yeah.
You have the world in your hands right now.
The world in my hands, and the one thing that's
Anything.
fucking spoiling it, dude, is probably gonna be when someone is mansplaining something to me. Something I already know, I'm well versed in, and then they're trying to communicate something.
This
that,
one
like,
isn't gonna go well with Cody because he doesn't work for a living.
Dude,
He's not gonna understand what you're saying. He doesn't know what you mean,
dude.
Wait, so what do you mean? Can you explain that to me?
You're in a situation where let's say you're at work, right? And then like you
what is work again?
You get this. It's this abstract concept that's way over your head. You know. I'll just
don't.
Daddy's money.
Don't worry about it, Cody. Don't worry
Google
about
it later. Dude.
Oh my god!
And then you're at work and you're well versed in your shit. You know what's going on. You know what's going on 10 steps after the thing you're doing right now. And then this new guy comes up, right?
Yep.
And then it's like you don't know his fucking skill level or whatever.
New guy rolls up on you. He's like, "Hey, you know you're holding your hammer wrong."
And then I fucking hit from this end all the time.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
The wood handle sinks him so much better. No, dude. And then it's just like. You notice a couple things, especially that you see them doing.
Hey man, that might be worse than the fucking Holocaust. I'm not.
Or like for you with your designs, you get someone that's never fucking created anything in their life, and they're like, you know what you really have to do? Like this is the key to success. If you do this design, it's like, bro, fucking do it yourself then.
Exactly.
If you're so fucking smart and gotta
100%.
figure it out.
I can't. I'm very fortunate to where I know that day will come while running that scenario, but in that aspect of it.
That's got to be a thing for small business owners in general, though.
Dude,
they gotta have people that come up and be like, you know what you should do? You should do. And you're like,
especially
hey, motherfucker.
Old timers are the worst.
10 times as much money.
Dude, even with the podcast, they're like, oh, I'd be so fucking funny on there. I'd kill it. You guys need to have me on. I got the best ideas. It's like, all right, come on. Let's see it.
Yeah. Dude,
let's see you kill it.
Especially when it's
kill
something.
It, funny boy. What are you, fucking Pete Davidson? Shut up.
Like especially something that's so close to you that you put so much work in it is just your bundle of creation.
I agree.
Right? You put your fucking heart, soul, and jizz into it, dude.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's a party, and then someone will comment, you've been doing it wrong, or if you did this, it's
heart,
like, dude,
soul, jizz is equal to or greater than blood, sweat, tears.
Exactly. Yes.
Exactly.
What do you?
And that's all I have to say. Whoever's top 3 you thought was the best, go on the Snapchat, add at OnTapOfficial, and vote it. And whoever wins, let's just add this: whoever wins gets to decide a punishment for the other 3. Just so you know. So pick wisely.
No butt
because
stuff,
you know that someone like me is going to give a good punishment.
If you guys really want,
if
you really want
Bodie,
to see these guys get fucked with, just vote Mitchell. Let's be real.
And again, thank you everyone for coming on.
I'm talking quiet because I'm being for real.
Mitch, thanks for joining us again. Bodie, thanks for coming on.
Oh, dude, I'm coming.
Bodie the merch boy, the merch god, Sam says.
The merch.
No.
God.
Merch
I reject that title.
You can claim that fucking
I
title
reject
all day,
that
baby.
Merch god. Sam, what do you have to say? What are you going to close us out here with?
So all I gotta say is, boys, another great episode. The vibes were here. The alcohol was flowing. We had a great time. Hopefully you guys like the conspiracy theory. We'd love to keep doing it. Let us know what we should do next.
Give some feedback.
I think next week we're gonna rip another drunk current events episode. We're gonna get back to our old roots. We're gonna see what happens. But thanks for listening to another episode of On Tap with the Boys.